Hey, good people. It is me, Lauren, aka La. I am back. It has been a while since I have done this thing in the podcasting world. So yeah, bear with me. It could be a little janky because it's been a couple months. So much has been going on, but something just in my gut has telling me just get back to podcasting, get back to that. And I actually have a couple topics already in mind that I'm super excited about, but I am happy to be back recording. I am focused on, especially in this phase of life, because so much has, been transforming. And my goal is really to podcast through the pain, podcast through this journey I'm on, but ultimately podcast to my healing and the healing that I'm doing. So the first topic back in this podcast world is going to be about being single and healing. As we all know, 2020 has been a year of surprises. I think as a society, as a world, I think every day we kind of hold our breath when we wake up because you just don't know what 2020 will hold for you. 2020, like so many of us, I was like, oh, this is gonna be my year, me changing the world, I'm gonna travel. And, thanks to Rona, girl's been pretty grounded. And I have actually moved cities. I used to live in Omaha. Now I'm actually in the Atlanta area. So that's been a transformation for me, and starting a new job during COVID. Whew, that's been interesting. But one of the kind of things that has transformed in my life that I didn't expect in 2020 was to become single again. It was definitely a surprise. With anything, you believe I can't even talk. You believe your relationship is good and you're, building. And so some things transpired and changed within my relationship. And now I am a single woman. And so embracing that, I'm a 33-year-old grown, I have my own job, I have my own car, and I feel like I'm about to sing the independent song. But really, it was on top of multiple things that happened in a very short period of time. It pretty much just rocked 2020 for me in a whole different capacity. I had to take some time away from friends. Thankfully, here in the Atlanta area, I'm around my family. I actually live with my parents now. And so being with them, especially my mom, has been such a big source in helping me navigate through this kind of change in life. And I really took a step back and said, okay, Lauren, it's time to heal. It is time to figure some things out, because it was a different type of low. It was a different type of emotion for me. And maybe it's because 2020 has been so crazy. It was like, golly, like what else, can 2020 do to me? Look, I'm not asking for anything else, but still, you get my drift. It was like, I can't take anymore. I had some other things that were going on in my personal life. So then when the breakup hit, I just hit a low. I stopped working on my business. I stopped communicating to friends, like I mentioned, barely to family members that say aren't here. I just needed a moment. I had to figure out what the heck, like, what is this season, this period really trying to show me? Because literally 2 months ago, my life was completely different than it was, say, today. And I said, you know what? It's time to take a moment for Lauren. I know that I will look back one day and look at this season and be like, oh, this is why I needed this time. And in this time, in this period, I have really taken a quest to get very unapologetic with my healing. And the 3 ways that I've been doing that is pretty simple. It's mentally, physically, and spiritually. Truly mind, body, and soul. And so I just want to talk about a little bit of kind of what I've been doing in each quest. Hopefully this inspires somebody to do some of these things too. They're very important, and they have honestly been so transformative in my life. So let's first talk about the mental. So let's, call a spade a spade. Particularly in the Black community, it is a little bit, I would say not supportive in some capacity to not get a therapist. But I have an amazing friend that after I called her and I was like, I'm emotional, I'm crying. I just couldn't do it. It was so much just heaviness at one time. And she said, look, I love you, but you have to get a therapist. And she pretty much said you have today. And she sent me a list of like 8 therapists. She looked them up to make sure they were in my network for insurance and said, pick one. You have to get a therapist. And honestly, therapy has been the most transformative experience for my life. I got the therapist really to handle, say, the right now situations going on, but I have clearly learned that I needed a therapist for all the 33 years of living. And I have to say that I am so fortunate that my family, blackety black as they are so supportive, especially my mom. I mean, my dad is too, but especially my mom. I mean, she was like, I'm so proud of you for going to therapy. I feel like more people should go to therapy. Do what you need to do. Have your time. If you want to share with me anything about it, let me know. And she has been pivotal in my healing process, because I talked to her about things that I've learned in my therapy sessions and about myself, our relationships, family members, and the support has been awesome. I know that this is not typical to get so much support from a Black parent. I'll say it that way. And I am so fortunate for that. And I do not, I say that because I want to make sure that as I am I've always been an advocate for therapy. I'm even my advocate, I say, or selling of going to therapy has gone up 10,000%. But I have to be mindful and share how much of my support team, my crew, is from friends to family. They are so supportive of my therapy journey. And I know this is not typical. I would say 100% of the Black community. I just feel like in general. And I feel so fortunate and blessed that I have such a great support system who are like, hey, do what you need to do. Get the help you need and grow and heal. And this healing process has been, it's been raw. I mean, I've had my tears. I have learned about myself. And it was very hard for me to get to the point to want to even go. Even in my tears, I could feel the depression literally just all over my body of just the sadness. But I didn't want to go because I've always been known in my head as like a perfectionist. And a perfectionist does not do therapy. So why would, I need somebody else to help me sort through different things? And I can say, at least for me in my therapeutic experience thus far, therapy is nothing like what I expected at all. And I'm almost mad at myself, like, why didn't you do this, years ago? But like I say, there's always a time and a reason and a season. And I am the most open to this season because of the healing journey that I'm on. My therapist has even said that in our first session, like, thank you for being so open. I was like, I don't have anything, I feel like, left to hide. I don't have it in my energy source to stop and not be open, because I am that engaged in my healing process. And so when it's time for you to pick a therapist and you want to engage and have that added to your healing process, I'm such an advocate, and I am such a, I just want to push, I don't say push, but I just want people to know more about what therapy can really do for your life. And especially in 2020, with all the things that we've been going on with COVID and, say, working remote or having to teach the kids at home or losing your job or whatever it may be, look for resources to get that mental health aspect. I never utilized mental health in my healing in the past of, say, a relationship or a family member passing away. I would just hit it in the gym. That was my therapy, just sweat it out. And I have learned that that's a component, and I'll talk about that next, but this mental aspect of really truly understanding yourself, learning to love yourself, celebrate yourself, you can't get that anywhere else except really getting some professional help to help you tap in and see that excellence within you. Okay, so part 2 of this healing journey that I've been on is to get back focused on the physical aspect. And when I say physical, I mean the workout. And so I actually have recently invested in a Peloton bike, and boy, oh boy, that has been by far one of the best investments I have made, because I love the gym. When I am committed in it, I love the gym. I love I call it the gym sweat that you get when you leave. You just feel like, ooh, I did it. And the Peloton bike gives me that. I have tried, before we do at-home workouts to build at that same level of sweat. I just never could. So I invested in it. It is by far one of the best things I've ever done, just from the additional classes that you get from the Peloton. And this is like, no, they did not pay me for this. Let me say that in this podcast. But I have to say that physical element in this healing journey has been amazing. And it's been kind of interesting because I'll take, say, a ride on the bike, or I'll do a certain course through the app, and one of the instructors will say something, and I'll be like, they don't know what I'm going through. But that just shows me that I feel like in life you get certain messages and things all the time. And so sometimes on like a ride, it will say like, hey, you're having this moment, you're having this hard period of life. And it's something that literally, it connects to me, so I would say to my core. And so those, I say, are the little reminders that tell you you're on the right track. So with the physical aspect too, something that I have challenged myself, particularly with COVID, because it's so easy to stay inside, because that's what we are to do, is I've challenged myself to go outside literally once a day. And the goal really has been to walk, to move my legs, because, not, going into the office, I have, a traditional office job, drive into the office. All that movement has pretty much gone away. Like, I pretty much just walk from one room to the other to start my work day. And I have found that the walking outside too has been really good for me. And I'm so thankful that I have moved, south now, so I can be outside more. And I'm sorry for my cold weather state friends, because I know the option isn't as much. But if anything, even when it's cold, I say try to get outside and get some fresh air every day. That to me is a physical aspect. That's just me personally. It could be a little bit mental or spiritual, however you want to bucketize it. But getting outside or just moving, we have to keep moving in this season, because we're almost a year now that we've kind of been in this stay at home unofficial order. And so if nothing else, I just advise us all to get moving. You could be as dedicated of getting, at home fitness equipment. You don't have to spend money. Like spending money is not always the first, thing to do. But hey, get on YouTube. Let's make sure that we keep our bodies moving, stretching every day, doing some yoga, really moving our bodies, because that is that healing aspect in itself. Thinking about what foods we're putting into our bodies. I've actually been doing a lot of research this last week on what type of foods to eat for my blood type. And I have been a little surprised because there's some things that I literally eat every day that I really shouldn't by, say, blood type perspective. So I just say in all of this, let's work on ourselves. So first with the mind, the body, and then now let's talk about the soul. All right, let's talk about the soul, the spiritual aspect of healing. For me, I was born, I would say, and raised under the Christian faith. And for anybody who, is born under a certain religion, regardless of what it is, I personally look at, we all have a moment or moments in our lives where we have to decide, do we want to keep with that faith, or do we want to, look outside at different realms, or different things, different religions, or don't really line to religion at all, whatever it may be. And so for me, I would say over the last, especially year to my journey with religion or spirituality, I can't barely say that word, has evolved, for lack of better words. It's just different in how I look at things, or I'm just growing and I'm really aligning differently that maybe I wouldn't, when I was younger, say 16, and that's just, you grow up, you learn different things. So I've really been looking at religion and healing my soul and getting more aligned, and I would say connecting. I would say a big thing to nature, with the walks and the fresh air. And so for me, one thing that I actually tried out, another friend, I would say made me do it. My friends have some interesting influences over my life sometimes. But she opened me up to trying out Reiki, or it's Reiki. I'm probably saying it wrong either way. Reiki therapy. And that, is really talking about alignment of your chakras. I am not a specialist in that, so I would definitely say look it up for yourself. But really looking at all the different chakras in your body, from your root to your heart to your crown. And I tried that out a couple of weeks ago, maybe a month now. And that was a very eye-opening experience. I thought when I was there that it was just a bunch of mess, honestly. I paid my money, but I didn't really think I was going to get anything from it. And so as I'm going through the process, I could start to literally feel where the Reiki master was talking about, okay, my hands are positioned here. We'll say, for instance, she was over my heart, and I could literally feel the chakra, in my opinion. And it was so off. It was, it's from my understanding of seeing it even visually, it's supposed to be very centered in your body, going up and down each chakra. Mine was far over to the left. And she had to work a lot of putting the positive energy into that chakra. And I was like, whoo, this is legit. And, I've started to dabble into the things of understanding different crystals. I've, really been working on manifesting and right mind intentions. But all in all, I think in this healing journey, it has caused me to refocus, realign myself to my relationship with God. I feel like with anything, religion and what you believe in a higher power, be it God, universe, whatever, that's a very personal journey. So I just, for me, have really started to push and hone in on understanding myself in the spiritual kind of realm. Really focusing on my meditation has been great for me in aligning, I say spiritually. This area I would say is probably the most that I need to do the work on within this healing journey. And I'm actually working on doing something reconnecting to nature pretty soon. But I just, ironically, a couple weeks ago with the storms and everything that came through, I had no internet. And so couldn't do anything. So I sat outside. I was talking to some friends and I sat outside for almost 3-4 hours on a random, I think it was a Thursday afternoon. I hadn't done that in ages. I can't remember. It's probably been years since I've actually just sat outside and just enjoyed good weather. And I just looked up in the sky, I looked up in the clouds, and it was just so beautiful, so connecting. And I was like, this is an element of this healing process that I also need to tap into. And so I'm working on this aspect. I'm going to another Reiki appointment. I'm probably saying it wrong, sorry. But I want to really align in this process in my healing journey and focusing on my meditation, my prayer, my right thoughts, because all of this stuff helps. It is not just one element that can heal in what I'm learning in this journey. And so from the spiritual side of really reconnecting to what I believe in, what are my core beliefs, why do you believe in this, has been a amazing part of this healing journey. All right, good people, we are winding down on this podcast episode. And, I started it, with opening up a little bit about now the single life, that is what it is. But the biggest thing that has come from the last 2 months of transformative change for me has been it has shoved me into this healing journey. I have learned that, healing, I never really did it before. I have 33 years of stuff that has happened, good, bad, ugly, and I never really addressed it. I never really looked at it. I never really resolved it and healed from it. I just kept moving. And so focusing on a healing journey and focusing on the mental side, the physical side, and the spiritual component have been truly transformative. I know we all have different ways that we heal. This is just the way that I'm doing it. I'm not, trying to push anything on anyone. That is never, that's never me. But I always am I have grown over the last couple years, and even with the name of my business, Speak Up, and that is to speak up and share. Life is so hard at times, and I saw this meme the other day, and it was like, hey, heal in private so you can shine in public. And I was like, I kind of agree with some of that, but some of that I don't, because healing, yes, needs to be, some elements need to be a private journey. There's elements that are raw and ugly, but I also feel that because we've kept so much in, that we have not shared, elements of breakups, or elements of when you're in debt, or elements when you're mad at, your parents, or whatever it may be, that we kind of always just put it in a box. And so I guess I just am okay with being kind of a guinea pig and sharing my life, that hopefully it helps somebody else. I've had a multitude of things happen here and there. But overall, I would say thankfully, I've had a pretty blessed life. But everybody has something that happens to them that is traumatic. And so in everything that I do within my business, within this podcast particularly, is just to share real life elements of what's going on. Hopefully it's relatable in some aspect to you, and it helps you in your day-to-day journey. That is my biggest wish, goal, and everything that I do within my business wholeheartedly. So hopefully, I thank you so much for listening to this. But hopefully, maybe you got a couple things from it, or hey, shoot me a quick note, send me an email of some things that you're maybe doing on your healing journey that can give me some tips as well, because I'm always up for trying something new and trying something to really grow and be a better person. My main thing of 2020 ending this year out, who knows what 2021 is to hold, but is truly focusing on that self-love, because once that is right, everything else, doesn't really matter. Any extra love that you get from parents, a spouse, significant other, friends, whoever it may be, that's just icing on the cake. And I am so focused on my self-love, and that's the priority. And so I hope you have an amazing rest of your day whenever you're listening to this. And I hope we all work through our healing, our traumas, seek out help if you need it. Get those resources out there. They're there to help you. Please. Have a good one, y'all. All right, good people, that is all for today. Thank you so much for joining me for this week's podcast. Make sure you subscribe to the show so that you can catch every new episode. Make sure to leave a review so I can continue to bring you fresh content. And of course, do not forget to follow me on my social media platforms, Facebook and Instagram at _SpeakUpLaw. And to check out my website, www.speakuplaw.com, for other great info and services. Until next time, good people. Hi everyone, my name is Lauren, aka Law, and I am the host of Speak Up Law. My goal in life is to amplify voices, connect people, and spread joy. So the way that I am doing that is very, very soon. I have a show coming out called Speak Up Law. Speak Up Law is a show that I crafted and created that showcases Black excellence, HBCU life, and lets you see all these amazing different professions of amazing Black people doing things in their lanes and absolutely crushing it. The show is filmed on HBCU campuses and other local businesses around the Nashville and Atlanta area, where you can meet and see people in their real time and see all the different professions that they do. When I tell you that I called in some amazing folks, I got entrepreneurs in the whiskey industry, I got art gallery owners, doctors, dentists, the list goes on. And even you get to hear from one of my amazing friends who is part of the Fisk Jubilee Singers. If you don't know who they are, look them up. They just won a Grammy. So until then, you can learn more about my show by going to Facebook or Instagram at _SpeakUpLaw, or my website, www.speakuplaw.com. Until next time, love y'all. We'll chat later.